What's up, guys? We're here in Ireland. We made it to Westside Barbell Club. Flew in last night. Flight was pretty good. It was like 9 hours on the plane or so. Total travel time was something around 12 hours, so not too bad. Definitely feeling a little jet lag today, but we're here at the gym. We're gonna hit the last easy workout. The plan today is 3x3 on squat, bench, deadlift. Probably work up to just like three red plates on all 3 lifts. Knock it out. Basically just kind of want to do, almost more so doing my like warm-up routine, just kind of get the joints moving. My hips are definitely feeling very tight after the flight and everything. So yeah, otherwise feeling pretty good with going into the comp. Weight is sitting at like 224 pounds, 102 kilos. So I'll probably have to sauna just a tad in the morning. And yeah, we're going to get to this workout and then just chill the rest of the night. All right, guys, we're back in the US. Had a very solid trip to Ireland. To be honest, I was pretty tired most of the trip, felt very jet lagged and didn't really feel like talking to the camera. So decided to wait till now to kind of do the wrap up and, talk about things. But you'll see in a minute how the meet went. But before we talk about it, I want to kind of go over, the lead up to the meet, how things were going, weight cut, all that stuff. But before we get into that, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave any questions you have for me in the comment section below. As always, if you guys need help with your training, don't forget to check out Proven Strength app. Link for that description below. Get access to 40+ programs designed by Andy and myself. World record programming at a fraction of the cost of a one-on-one coach. 3, 4, 5 day programs for beginner, intermediate, advanced, powerlifting, bodybuilding, style training, power building, single lift. You also follow along with my own train, which I'll have to upload the next batch. So stay tuned for that. You also get added to our private Discord where we ask questions, get form checks, and talk about training. And if you guys are in the market for gear, don't forget to check out Next Level Strength for all your equipment needs. Knee sleeves, wrist straps, got elbow sleeves coming soon. If you guys are using either the app or Next Level Strength, don't forget to tag myself on Instagram so I can share your videos. So leading into the comp, the last video I posted was the 410 kilo deadlift, 903 pounds. That was saying about just under 4 weeks out. With that, and then the second to last heavy bench day, which would be 3 weeks out, I ended up hitting 365 kilos on squat, just blew it up. I was feeling super good at this point. And then at around that 3 week out point, training kind of took a little turn for the worse. Ended up having a few work trips that add a little extra stress to the prep. And what really set off was on one of those work trips, I ended up wrecking my truck, got in totaled it. No injuries, luckily, but it just added quite a bit of stress. And the last like 3 weeks have just been kind of very hectic on top of a few other factors that just made that last 3 weeks not go super well. Deadlifts are still feeling pretty good. I didn't go over the 410 mark, but I was still feeling very strong on that movement. Squat and bench though were not great. My last heavy workout, I was planning to hit 375 kilos on squat, and I just was like nowhere near close to hitting it. Really shot my confidence on that movement. And then on top of that, started kind of developing some pain in my subscapularis that has just been giving me some issues, especially like on the chest, and just feels like I can't kind of get that pop off the chest as much as I normally can. Like it feels like the strength is kind of there, but I can't get in a good position, and it's really frustrating. So leading into the meet, I was kind of at that point not feeling super confident, and you know, it's kind of frustrating because like prep was feeling so well. But to be honest, I already like a few weeks prior kind of decided I wanted to focus more on the bar showdown. I think I talked about that in previous videos, just because when you're doing back-to-back preps, you kind of have to focus on one and have the other one be like a tune-up, whether it's the first one or the next one. Especially as like an untested lifter, you kind of have to time up your cycle with one of the meets, and that's why I picked the bar showdown, because it sets me up way better to have a good total at that meet. Just a few factors. Number one is going to be the travel. I'm just flying to Florida, which isn't too bad of a travel day, versus going to Ireland. I'm dealing with jet lag. The travel time was like 12 hours versus like 4 or something like that to go to Florida. So there's always the factor of like food when you go to a different country. I can go to any like major place in the US and there's gonna be like a Walmart or a Target or a grocery store where I know the things in the grocery store that I like to eat, that I handle well on meet day or, you know, after the weight cut, versus going across the country where, you know, nutrition labels are a little bit different. They're a little bit tougher to read, and, you know, just factors like that. The fact that like we're using a Texas deadlift bar versus a Cerberus bar, which I typically pull better on a Texas bar. So all that said, I kind of set my focus on doing well at the bar showdown, but I still want to do well at the Clash Titans. On top of that, the bar showdown is a dots meet. Should be able to win that meet versus the Clash, which is based on total. I'm going against absolute monsters. The next closest guy to my body weight was 20 kilos heavier than me. I was giving up quite a bit of room on that front, as well as like knee wraps, another thing I don't like to use. So because of that, I like sleeves, and I'm kind of handicapping myself in those two regards. And I'm just not quite there to compete as a total meet against guys who are, you know, pushing like 350 pounds. So maybe as I grow into the 100 kilo class, honestly, if it's a sleeve meet, I feel like I have a chance to compete with most guys in sleeves by total, but, you know, not right now in wraps. So I'd like to podium on Clash of Titans at some point in my life, but I think next year I'd probably focus more on the ABS Pro if I do another abs meet. Haven't decided yet, but I'm kind of leaning that way for, I believe it's in August. But we'll see. It's going to kind of depend on how this whole year's meet preps go. So yeah, lead up to the meet, training was going super well, and then it wasn't. Body weight for the whole prep was staying around like that 102 kilos, 224 pounds. With traveling internationally, I really didn't want to do a water cut. So what I ended up doing is I cut back on carbs a little bit. That put me around like 222 pounds. And then I just spent like an hour in the sauna. And yeah, that set me at like 222 pounds the night before. Woke up, went to the sauna for about an hour, ended up weighing in at 98.7 kilograms, like 217-ish pounds. So didn't really even need the sauna, but you know, that makes me think that I could probably push the body weight a little bit more, hopefully over these next 3 weeks. Maybe just carry a little bit more water. That will like hopefully translate to a little bit, joints feeling a little bit better and a little bit more strength. So that's kind of the plan going forward. I will be able to do like a water load with the travel just to Florida versus like to Ireland, because flying internationally and have to pee every 30 minutes sucks. So yeah, decided not to do it. Yeah, like I said, weighed in 217 pounds. Refeed went super well. Got some sushi. Focused on a lot of, you know, oatmeal. That's the other thing. Like I said, it's kind of hard to know what things I like. With that said, gonna roll the footage for the meet, and then we'll kind of talk about how, you know, each of the lifts went, where my head was at, what was going on during the day.
Made of light before the fall, closest to the throne, above them all. I questioned heaven, I chose my name. I chose the dark, I chose my way. Cast me out, break my crown. I fall alone, but I don't drown. Fall from the light. Fall from the light. Still I rise. Me out, break my crown, and I fall alone, but I don't could
All right, guys, so as you saw, we went 7 for 9, ended up totaling 1,012.5 kilos, 2,237 pounds. Not my best showing, but also I am feeling actually pretty happy with the performance. So we'll talk about squats first. So squats, obviously last year was a big problem for me. I ended up going 1 for 3, getting called for depth calls on my opener and a third attempt. So I really kind of came into this meet, really wanted redemption on that. And to be honest, I was feeling pretty nervous because I feel like the last few weeks of training, my hips have just been feeling a little bit bound up, especially actually after the travel. My hips were really, really tight. And like doing that really light workout on Thursday did not give me confidence because yeah, it was like hard to get down in position just with how tight my hips were feeling. But on the meet day, ended up kind of opening up, and not only were my hips feeling bad, but on my last like heavy-ish squat day on the Saturday before the meet, I worked up to a single at 340 kilos, 749 pounds, and felt just like a slight, just a little like, like it was like, it's about to go kind of feeling in my VMO and my quad. And it was just kind of bugging me all week. Felt like it was there. So I was kind of like very nervous that it was going to become an issue on meet day. Like, you know, if I'm going to be like maxing out, something that sits in your head and just scares you a little bit. So, you know, one of my good friends, Ken, had a very horrific quad injury, and, you know, it kind of scars you a little bit. So that was also in the back of my head, but ended up taking my opener at 320 kilos, 705 pounds, used the lighter knee sleeves. I usually always do this for meet days on top of warm-ups just because the stiff sleeves are a pain in the ass to pull on and off, and they're just like tight enough that I can't like keep them on like between attempts. So 705 is light enough that I can just hit it with the lighter knee sleeves. That flew, depth was feeling really good. And, you know, I'm in the meet at this point. I'm feeling good. Move up to 350 kilos, 770 pounds. Again, that moves great. Decided to go with what the plan was the 372.5. Originally, I wanted to hit 375, but with missing the 375 in training as bad as I did, I was just not confident in it. And so hit 372.5. I'll be honest, like the depth looks really good. But I felt like I cut it a little bit, and I got really nervous, but I ended up getting it. I got a red light from the front judge, which I thought was a little weird, but, you know, whatever. White lights, or got the lift, moving on to bench. I was feeling very good at this point. So, like, I'm like, fuck, I'm feeling strong. Didn't, like, full max out on the squat, so, like, wasn't feeling, like, super tired. The pace of the meet, though, was very fast. So there was only 7 lifters. You know, it was moving quick. I think overall the meet took about 2 hours, like just slightly over 2 hours from start of squats to the end of deadlifts. So yeah, fast meet. With that, I was a little bit conservative with my like nutrition during the day because I don't like feeling very full when I'm lifting. So I was kind of afraid of feeling that. So I didn't really eat during the meet, and that was a problem that kind of started to pop up towards bench. So bench opened with 230 kilos, 507 pounds. That moved well, moved up to 250 kilos, 550 pounds, which, to be honest, with the shoulder was kind of what I was like, okay, like, this is all I want to get. Anything more, I'll be super excited about. So 250 moved well. I felt like 260 was a pretty safe bet. This was kind of when I just felt like my energy level started to dip quite a bit. And on top of that, I feel like I rushed the setup a little bit. One of my feet just kind of like slipped out a little bit on the unrack, and then my back also just like cramped up really bad during the grind and was not able to fight through it. Very frustrating. Bench has just been quite the issue the last couple of years, to be honest. And yeah, it's annoying because it was going so well this prep, and then, you know, just kind of creeped up. Maybe my shoulder just can't handle those upper 500s, and, you know, squat's still moving. Deadlift is still feeling pretty good for the most part. It's getting stronger. It doesn't seem like that because I feel like I haven't, like, when I was pulling a lot more was on a kabuki bar, and, you know, I pull a little bit more on the kabuki bar. So if I can pull more on a Texas bar, it means I'm getting stronger. So, you know, got to compare like apples to apples in that sense. But Bench has been stagnant. Really hoping that I can keep kind of bulking a little bit and that strength will come up and then get the shoulder healed in the next few weeks. So hopefully I can get like 265 or at least like 260 at the bar showdown, but you know, we'll see. Yeah, at this point, you know, missed that 260. That kind of killed a little bit of my vibe. Moving on to deadlift. This is when the problems really started to kick in. With having not eaten all day, my quads, I could kind of start to feel during warm-ups that like, ooh, these feel like if I flex my quads, they're gonna cramp. And yeah, warm-ups weren't feeling the best because of that. Like I feel like my starting position felt a little bit off. Ended up taking my opener at 370 kilos, cramped up pretty bad at the lockout. You know, it makes it so that my quads are tight, but felt uncomfortable. And then second attempt, 395 kilos or 392.5 kilos. And again, quads cramped up. And after this one, I actually like had to limp off the platform a little bit because my quad was just locked up, and tried to stretch it out and everything. Luckily, it was like just enough time before the next attempt where like it kind of released a little bit, but it was just so painful and like it felt like my starting position was feeling pretty off. Ended up taking 402.5 kilos. The plan was to go 410, but I knew that was going to be like with my legs, it just like was not going to be the case, which is annoying because when I went up for my third attempt, the 402 actually felt very comfortable. So all the other attempts, we came in from the side and we like had the chalk ball there. And I'm very autistic in that like, I like to take like the same number of steps. Like I get in such a routine of like taking the same number of steps, like turning, tightening my belt, doing the same like breathing and like kind of like shoulder movements and everything, walk up to the bar with the same number of steps. And for the third attempt deadlifts, they had us go like into a different area and walk down like the path of the middle of the arena and then like go and deadlift. That kind of threw me off a little bit. I've like never liked walking down like a tunnel or whatever, or like, yeah, the walkout to the third deadlift. Like I've just never been a fan of it. It just like mentally throws off my timing a little bit. On top of the walkout, or like it throwing off my timing, I made the mistake of putting my chalk on, I feel like way too early. Like I chalked up and then they had to like clean off the bar before they like announced me to come out, and it's like a decent sized walk. Yeah, I should have like walked over and re-chalked up at the end of the line or at the end of the walkway and then gone up to the bar. But at this point, I kind of just wanted to be done with the day. And so I set up, started pulling, and to be honest, the weight felt very easy. I was like, oh, this is like easy, I should get it. But yeah, it just felt like I like sweated through the chalk or something, and my grip was just not having it in my underhand. Trying to like squeeze it, like it slowed down because I was like trying to like focus on my grip rather than like lifting it, and I just couldn't hold on to it. So very disappointed with that. Unfortunately, missed 402.5, but again, I felt pretty strong on that movement. So left some weight on the table. Overall, ended up totaling the 1015, 2237. You know, not my best day, not my worst. Overall, I'm feeling happy because, you know, last year was a very poor performance for me. It was my first time not totaling 1,000 kilos in a while. So to kind of come back on the same stage with the same judges and prove that I can hit depth in that platform, traveling internationally, competing with the big boys, I'm overall happy with the performance. And, you know, like I said, it was wasn't the meet that's my priority right now. So I think that kind of helps a little bit. Like if Bar Showdown doesn't go so well, then yeah, I'll feel a little bit more disappointed. So yeah, we have 3.5 weeks now to get ready for Bar Showdown. Basically had to get right back to work. Honestly, feeling pretty good. Like leaving the meet, this is probably one of the best I felt because I feel like I said, I left a lot of weight on the table. Like squats moved super well. Bench, like the fail didn't seem hard. And even still, when I fail a bench, like it's not super taxing to me. And then the deadlift, it was a grip issue. It wasn't like failing because I was like overexerting myself. So all that said, mentally I felt pretty good. Physically, I feel quite good other than, you know, the shoulders Still feeling a little sore, but basically the plan is these next 3 weeks just kind of ramp up. I probably won't really do like a full deload or full taper. It's going to be more so like a kind of the IPF standard or style where it's like 4 or 5 week ramp up over the block, where even like a week out I'm hitting kind of a heavyish lift, which I kind of have to do because I'm doing the cage at the Arnold for animal, and you know I need to do something kind of cool in the cage. So I think my plan is to just treat that as like my last heavy squat and bench day. Probably hit something around like 365, 804 on squat, and then bench I'd like to hit 265, but we'll see. So I think I want to hit like 245 kilos this weekend on bench, 255, and then like 265. And then, yeah, probably do the same on squat, like 345, 355, 365. And then at the meet, I would like to hit, my goal would be like 5 kilos on squat. So like 377 and a half kilos, maybe like 375. Bench, 260 to 265 would be the goal. And then deadlift, something around like 415 to like 417 and a half. So deadlift, I'll probably have like one heavy training day this prep or this, you know, short little block, 1 to 2, and then yeah, go from there. So try and add a little bit more weight. Hopefully that translates to a little bit more strength. The weight cut will be easier with being able to water load, handle, you know, foods that I like that are like gonna reduce like just like gut weight, and then small sauna time if I have to. So we're in a good spot. Definitely ready for off season though. So looking forward to get through these last few weeks. We've got the cage, and then we have bar showdown. So stay tuned for those videos. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, check out Proven Strength and Next Level, and we will catch you in the next video.
We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll, pulling up, smoking haze through the back door. We get that fresh glaze on the D-roll.